Hi guys, it's Ryan again. Doing a little bit of swapping things back over to the 03. As you can see, we got a little mock-up in progress over there. But we need to get this destroyed fender off to get to this door. And as you can see, we're pretty much there. But then I remembered this one's actually got the side skirts on it, so we're going to go over how to take the side skirts off. First of all, these are already off, but there's 3 screws, 2 screws, 2 screws here, and to hold the side skirt in place there. And then you don't have any back here in the back, but you do some clips that screw in here, which are already off, so that's a good thing. And one up there in the front that actually looks broken. And then you should just slide it forward and pop it off. So we'll see how that goes. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is if you look at the 03, you can see where it had side skirts. So there's actually going to be some tape and possibly some more bolts we got to deal with, or more clips that we got to deal with. So it'll be interesting. If you can try to line this up, if you can see down in there, there's actually some glued in patches. It's gonna be real fun. Alright, as you see, they're actually supposed to be slide clips. Mine were completely stuck, so we ended up pulling most of them out. You can, if you're careful, pull some out, but these brackets definitely get in the way. I'd recommend just taking them off. There's 2 screws there and 2 screws there. Definitely would make the process a lot easier, so we'll do that on the other side. But we didn't break any clips, so that's good. But when I go back on, definitely going to try to get these clips out of the car. And line back up in their slots, and then just push it on. And like I said, take those out and reattach them later, which should make life a lot easier. Alright, so another thing on the line for today is we got the door on. Side skirts may wait for another day. We'll see. I kind of got some stuff to do tonight, but we're going to fix this headlight situation and this bumper situation. While we're at it, we can go ahead and probably get these SRS airbag modules unplugged. The battery's been out of this thing for quite a while, so I don't think there'll be any issue disconnecting them, and there's no ECU. Plus, if the airbags pop, this one less thing I got to take out, and I got another set, so it's not a huge deal. And then we're going to put the headlights and fix this bumper and get this hood lined up, and I want to see if we can get this fender lined up and fix these bars if we got time. Let's see, our washer fluid thing is a little busted there, and see how all that's going to line up. So let's go over here. And now, technically, when you start to get fenders off, you have this wonderful plastic piece that actually covers, you know, the bolt for the headlights that's already been out on this for a test fit. And unfortunately, they are those wonderful plastic Phillips screw in the middle plugs, so they are pretty much definitely not going to come out, which means you have to break them out or pry them over, or if you know how to get them out, good for you. As you can see, there was some damage done here, but that's alright. We're going to see how this goes without putting those back in, but I think the hood will be a little noisy. There's one of those wonderful clips, as you can see, strips right out. So you break that ring off and then you can get to it. Now the fender is pretty much unbolted, but what we got to get down to is the headlights. Now with the headlights and the bumper, you're gonna have one bolt here in the engine bay, and then even though it's not lined up, you'll have another bolt over here on the fender. So you get this from me. See, it's underneath the fender and that little plastic thing. So they're not too fun to get out. The other annoying part is that it actually has its own headlight bracket, and that's the bracket for the fender, or the headlight, that this slides into like that. So there's a bolt down there, and then you can pop it out and move it out of the way. And then the other bolt for the fender, to get this off in one piece with the mount, is right here. So what we can do, go ahead and slide this headlight out of here if I can. Hold on a minute. And as you can see, that pops right out, and that leads to the bracket for the bumper, which is the screws that are missing on the other car. Upper, and I believe there's lower ones on that one too. Yeah, right there. Oh, that's a plate, but pretty sure that's part of the bumper. And those look like 12s, 12 millimeters. So we're gonna pop those off and get our brackets for the bumper. And your horns are down here. So now's a good time to get the horns too, to disconnect the wires. And as you see, this headlight is still held in on the frame rail back here. And it's got a bolt underneath that you got to get get it off. Okay, so did this video over a couple days, but we had everything mocked up. If you check the Facebook page, you can see pictures of it, and I'll get a video here in a minute, but without the hood and the bumper, just so you can see what everything looks like. So as you can see back here in the back, we got the wing on, bumper on, taillights switched out. I actually managed to get no gap in the bumper, but it is a bit of a stretch. Still gonna have a little bit of a problem area under here. As you can see, the body's a little bent. We'll figure that out. We may just leave it that way, as long as it doesn't scrub the tire. We got our fender switched out over here, which actually ended up lining up pretty good without using those top mounts. And you see we got the headlights switched out. So we may just leave those top mounts how they are. We'll see how much vibration and stuff we get out of it once it's back on the road. And then we got our door headlights and everything else straightened out over here. There's gonna be a little bit of some plan to try to get that gap out a little bit better down there in the bottom, but it's gonna be a stretch. We'll figure it out. We gotta clear up this up here, but we should be able to make it a lot better. The door did actually seal completely all the way through, so that's good. It didn't take much effort. As you see over here, got a lot of gutting going on. Now one thing is, my 04 has the factory diffuser on the bottom. How much good that thing really does, I don't know, but we're gonna go ahead and swap it out anyway. And unfortunately we can't get the grill out on the bottom because it's all one piece. The other one was cut out for some fog lights, but he did take the SI badging off, so you can't just switch the badge because it's riveted in place. What we're going to end up having to do, since that bumper's got a huge dent in it, this bumper, is go ahead and pop off the top grill. Just a few little screws right here, and the diffuser has its own set of screws down here in the bottom. Now we take a look at this one. You can see it's definitely a little modified there, and got some crack that we're gonna have to, I guess, epoxy back in place for cut off, because once we put the diffuser on, that'll be covered up. But hopefully we can get the diffuser on there without a lot of hassle. This hole should line up. But this is what I mean when you put the fog light kit in, you pretty much cut out the entire inside, at least he did, and add the fog lights. Now the other thing we got to do, since this was a Virginia car, had 2 license plates, so we are going to delete the ever-living crap out of that thing. There's no need for it, and it's just a couple screws down there on the bottom and one up here on the top. And hopefully, I got to work this afternoon, so I don't know if we'll get it done, but we're going to get this hatch off back here to save for some parts, just in case, you never know. But to do that, I'm gonna have to take the gas shocks off. Lovely dump truck or garbage truck, and they kind of just pop off with the pop and a twist. It's not too easy. You got to play with it a little bit, but they will come off. And then, as you can see, we got 2 bolts here and 2 bolts here, and we're gonna have to pull this wiring out to get it off, but that should not be a big issue. Now, alright, so we got our hatch back off, and one thing I did right on one side and wrong on the other side is you got to make sure that you take the actual support, I can't remember what they're called right now, but the gas shocks back here, take these off first. And there's a clip down here that you have to pop off, and then they pull out, and then find something to prop your trunk up with, because one, if you don't take these out first and you start taking these bolts out, this gas shock will keep extending all the way up and push the hood to wherever it wants to go, so it'll actually overextend. So you want to make sure you take those out first, and then to get these bolts out, you really have to have the shock out or overextended so that you can lift it up far enough to get underneath here. Now if you do it by hand, it's kind of a pain. They don't really come out too well because of the tension that's on them, but you can get a 3/8 swivel socket with a stubby socket on it with the impact gun adapter, and or if you got one of the little 3/8 things, so you can use that, and get them out. You do just have to push the trunk up pretty high to get them out, and make sure you pull your wiring out and disconnect your washer tube back here. Mine just kind of pulled out when I pulled it off, but it worked out okay. So you still got a lot of wiring to get out of here, to switch harnesses and everything, and the horns on the 0203 are actually in a different spot So I believe we can still use these mounting brackets down here with the 04 horn, but all the better reason to be swapping out the wiring harness, just to be on the safe side. So the ones from the 0203 are up here in the actual engine bay area, and on the 04 they're actually down here, right there. And you can see I already got this one disconnected, so there's 2 horns, but it should bolt right up. All right, so the next thing that I've been putting off, but really it's time to get done to make things easier, especially what we have to do to get the glass out, is one, take that top strip out up here, and 2, take this cowl off. Now to get it off, you are going to have these plastic clips, 1, 2, 3, and I almost guarantee they're going to break. So we'll try to find a way around that, but it splits right here in the middle, so you can take half off at a time. But you do have to take out the wiper arms, and they have a cap on them right now. What you do is pop this cap off like so, and there's your nut, and you just remove that nut. Looks like a 14 probably, and then they'll pull straight off. So I'm gonna get to working on that so we can get to the bottom half of the glass. Now up here on the top, you see is a rubber seal. Now, not 100% sure how this comes out, but you're gonna have to be real careful, because when you go to pry it, you're either gonna be prying on your paint, your other weather stripping, or the glass. So it's really better if you can kind of get underneath it and get it with your hand. But I'm sure this stuff's pretty dry. Yep, it's pretty dry already. So we'll be having to force it out. Now on this window, I don't care, because it's already got the big hole in it. But it does not look like it's going to be easy. So we may actually get to get some heat involved to separate it, because it looks like it's supposed to pull backwards. You can see in there, out towards your hood, and then be slid off. So it's not going to be a very easy job. Okay, so we got a little bit of it off with just some force, and you can see it's actually glued in the groove with some silicone. Sure, that's great for water, keeping it out of the car, but make it that much harder to get it off. And it is going to actually bend as you take it off, so be careful, because you want to try to reuse it. But you see, it will, with some force, it'll keep peeling.